I'm April Scheffler, but you can call me Sheffy. Welcome to a special edition of Sheffy's Sandbox. In this series, I'm calling the Ambling Bear Dreamcast. I'll be delving into dreams and exploring their symbols to reveal the elegant messages condensed inside. Today's dream is the first one to be submitted by a listener. And here's her dream. I was at the Game of Thrones battle against the Ice King. And I will just stop to interject here. I think that it's interesting and very telling that she calls it the Ice King. Later, she came back to correct herself and say it's actually called the Night King. Okay, so I was at the Game of Thrones battle against the Ice King. Really, Night King. He can bring the dead back to life. I don't think I was fighting, but I do remember there being the Night King's zombies there. Okay, then she had a following dream the next night, and here's what that one was. Working in a daycare again. The children's minister at my church was there. She made face masks for everyone. We were waiting for the kids to show up and had to clean up the mess from the last time they were there. And we were eating apple slices. Someone was accusing someone else of having stolen their spot at a restaurant. And Jon Snow from Game of Thrones was there too. I haven't watched Game of Thrones. I watched the first episode, which triggered some bizarre PTSD-like symptoms. I curled up in a ball, felt my insides twisting, was crying my eyes out. I didn't want anyone to touch me or talk to me. I was zoning out. That was the first time I questioned whether I had suppressed memories or was experiencing intergenerational trauma, as I really couldn't explain what was happening, even to myself. Now, the cool thing about dreams is I don't have to have watched Game of Thrones to be able to interpret the dream, because all I need to know is what the symbols mean to the dreamer. All right, so let's go back to her first dream. I asked her to describe the Night King in 3 words, and if you remember, she had accidentally called him the Ice King. Her 3 words to describe him were cold, blue, and powerful. All right, so here's the work that I did with that. With the symbols ice or cold and blue, I put out there, that would be maybe unemotional, unfeeling, inhospitable, do anything to get ahead, heart of ice. Another symbol in her dream were zombies. Now, I do love me some good zombie movies. So, unless these are really unique zombies, I equated them with the undead, the unthinking, the unfeeling, those driven by primal urges to feed. So, okay. The next dream that she had, I asked her to describe the children's minister in 3 words. And those 3 words that the dreamer came up with were bright, saying that the children's minister had almost white blonde hair. Second description was smiley. Third was mysterious. She tends to be hard for me to read, the dreamer says. I asked her to describe Jon Snow in 3 words, and she put here cute, calm, and brooding. So it sounds like a great combination. All right, so then in that second dream, you also had a daycare. So if I'm writing down what a daycare means to me, it kind of indicates taking care of the small, the vulnerable, the immature. Children's minister, that would be bright and white with the white hair. Definitely that means to me not cold, not blue, in contrast to the Night King. Smiley, that tells me warm, approachable, friendly, not cold. As far as mysterious, that kind of equates to me as not being fully understood, maybe a deeper meaning or a hidden meaning. Making face masks, uh, in this time of COVID, that equates to purposeful action to me. Cleaning up a mess. You'll remember that they had to clean up a mess that the other kids had left. I took that to possibly mean unfinished business. Apple slices. So, if I'm thinking about what apple slices mean to me, I am thinking simple, healthy, nourishing, kind of like grandma taking care of you. She's slicing up some apples and yeah, just loving on you like that. Um, what about the part of the dream where someone else has stolen their spot? Well, if I'm just throwing out words and symbolism, to me that could say jealousy, rivalry, maybe trouble in paradise, uh, an imposter, or maybe even a substitute. Um, there was also the symbol of a restaurant. So I kind of took that as the opposite of the apple slices. So it's a little fancier. You're being served by someone else, not necessarily yourself. So you're not cooking your own food. It probably involves preparation, definitely not simple food. And then her description of Jon Snow, him being, what did she say? Cute, calm, and brooding. So I took that to be this would symbolize something that's attractive, calm, and not reactive, smart, maybe doesn't show all of one's cards. So for the interpretation to wind this up, I showed you some of the work I put into the symbols and the word association. I think the dreams are related. And so I believe this hunch is supported by both dreams containing Game of Thrones characters and the fact that they happened in succession. So together, the two dreams are establishing that there is a conflict, and it's highlighting the contrast between the two sides. So on one side, there's a lack of feeling. No one is thinking of others, only of one's own primal urges to either be in control or to feed. So this is held in contrast to taking care of others. This is the daycare dream. Those who are more vulnerable. Instead of letting oneself be driven by primal urges, this side takes thoughtful, purposeful action. This side is led by light that is warm and nurturing and attractive and intelligent, but not completely understood, which means there is an invitation to trust. On the side of light, the workers on the front lines are taking care of unfinished business, maybe a mess from a prior generation. They are being fed simple but nutritious fare. However, even if they are working on the correct side, those who stray from the simple message of love can begin to create dissent. When they begin to sample more complicated fare, such as messages that are being served to them on a platter with nice presentation, then accusations of appropriation can crop up. This is where things are mine versus yours, where there's an attitude of fear and a belief that resources are limited. I think most every dream can be applied on an intrapersonal level within yourself. And I think that's where the most amazing changes can take place if we listen to what our dreams are telling us. So it's my suggestion that the dream is inviting the dreamer to be mindful of the side of her that is driven to be in control, the side of her that is cold, the side of her that is only concerned for herself. She can acknowledge it and thank it, as that part of her believes it's protecting her, keeping her alive, keeping healthy boundaries, looking out for her. And as for the other part of her that is working on the side of light and love, the dream invites her to trust in the places that she doesn't fully understand. It asks her to keep things simple, stay with the message of love, and not to let a fearful mindset sow seeds of discord in her otherwise unified quest. Okay, so that's what I came up with. And what I love about dream interpretation is that there is no right or wrong. So I just invite you to take your own dreams as invitations to see what you might be telling yourself, and you'd be surprised by the wisdom that's there waiting for you. Now, if you'd like to have a dream interpreted for me to put my fancy little spin on things, email me the dream. I'd love to read it. My email address is thesandboxpod@gmail.com. That's thesandboxpod@gmail.com. Keep dreaming.